I'm here with Joanne and Valerie, and they're standing with signs for, who is this? Clinton, right?
Right.
So why are you doing this?
I felt that it was important to come out and show my support. I think that this is a contest that never should have happened. We have an intelligent woman, lots of experience, and I think it's important that she become the next president. And
And what do you say?
This is the first time I've been politically involved at all. It's certainly to this level. Just is probably the most important election in my lifetime that I've been aware of. So
I was a little bit surprised when you told me I know about it, but you got a sign on you that says "nasty women." Why don't you tell people what that means?
well, that's from one of the debates when Trump was not approving what Hillary was saying, and in his typical response, it's an attack on her character, and it has been taken forward to mean, in my mind, and I think the media, that it's women who are standing up for their rights.
Any other thoughts of the day?
make sure you get out and vote, and it's your right as an American. Speak up. I think it's important that we use that privilege that we're lucky to have.
It's more than a right. It's an obligation, I feel. Yeah.
Yes, I do. I've been voting since I was 18 years old, and that included not easy. I don't remember. Well, it was back in the 60s anyway. So
I haven't missed one election.
And I think it's a responsibility that you do. And it wasn't easy for me because when I was in Vietnam and Bosnia and stationed at different places around the world. I always made sure I got to vote. And the Army's good about that because they have a voting officer in every company. I don't know if you knew that or not.
I did not know that.
Well, I did hear Guam got their results already. 3-1, Hillary. Yeah.
And the other thing is we had to send it in, really early too. And the post office gave us a free envelope in the military for that.
I would think you deserve that.
That's great.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kevin.
So we want to thank Kevin Lynch for conducting those interviews at precincts 3, 6, and I believe he captured a couple of others. Now, you're a past warden of our precinct system, and the experiences that I had earlier today as a volunteer at precinct 6, we had folks lined up waiting for the doors to open, had a steady stream of voters coming in. It was never empty. And during the lunch hour, traffic started to pick up. I noticed when I was driving past Precinct 6, when later on in the afternoon it was picking up again. So Kevin was out there taking a lot of great interviews for us. So I think we're going to be going to Deb Rogers over in Town Hall now. Deb.
Hi, Jay.
Okay.
Hi, Jay. Can you hear me?
I can.
Good. It's good to be with you and Troy. So I am at Town Hall, and as you can imagine, with the early voting for the first time, there's a lot going on. There were over 7,500 early voting ballots, which represents about 29% of the registered voters in Falmouth. I heard that it took about 2 hours just to open up the envelopes this morning, and they're feeding them into the machines now. So they don't expect to have the totals here from Town Hall until about 11 this evening.
So with that in mind, that's easy, figure that out. We won't be able to give results this evening. They'll be able to get that through the enterprise system and other outlets tomorrow, correct?
Right, and FCTV will be posting the results on FCTV Channel 13, also on our website and through our Facebook page. So we will be posting tomorrow throughout the day as we get the results as well.
Thank you, Deb. We'll come back to you a little bit later.
Thanks. And
Okay.
I just also wanted to note how hard the entire town clerk's office is working. I've been watching them going back and forth, and they're just in a constant state of motion. So we've had a lot of elections this year, and they're just working really hard down here. So I want to give them a shout out.
Good, good.
Deb,
We'll
I'd
be
like
back
to echo that. You know, I was in town hall today, and I observed some of the election support that was going on. Town Clerk Michael Palmer is regarded throughout the Commonwealth as one of the preeminent and most professional clerks that we have in Massachusetts. And the fact that nearly 30% of our residents went to the polls and voted early. I did that. It was seamless. It was well run. And so it, I think, really encourages more folks to come out to vote, which is really what we've been talking about so far this evening, and really the theme that will probably dominate the rest of our coverage until about 9:30 this evening. So although we won't have those local results, it's for a reason. It's because lots of people in this community decided to exercise their right to vote. Some of them, I'm sure, when they went to the polls today, cast a vote for our next studio guest, Jay. A long-time public servant here in the town of Falmouth, first elected to the Board of Selectmen in May of 1993. I know that because I was on the ballot with her on that day, and we were elected together, and has served in varying capacities, including several terms on the Board of Selectmen and some time as a county commissioner. We are thrilled to have in studio with us one of the deans of public service here on Cape Cod, and most certainly here in Falmouth, Mary Pat Flynn. Pat, welcome.
Well, thank you so much. I'm so glad to be here.
So Pat, it's great to have you here, and as Troy was saying, you know, your history goes back so far back, but more than that, it's rich, it's full. Not only did you serve as the Board of Selectmen, but as a selectman, and as you remember as well, Troy, you also had to commit yourself to a number of committees and representing a wider, broader constituency, even here at the local level. But now we're talking about county government. And you've served not only as a county commissioner, you've also had the privilege of leading in that capacity as the chair. And now you're running for re-election with three other candidates. Let's just go down their name: Ron Beatty, Linda Bond, and Mark Forrest, for two open seats on the commissioners. Tell us a little bit about your race, how it's gone, your expectations, and where you think we're headed.
Well, I think the fact that I have been a commissioner now for 8 years is very helpful to me in running for re-election. Remember, the commissioners are the commissioners for Cape Cod, and that means every town on the Cape. So it behooves one who is running to touch base in every town on Cape Cod, as well as, if you win, like I did, to constantly stay in touch with the towns, with the boards of selectmen, and with the residents. And that's what I really enjoy the most. I mean, we all love Cape Cod, that's why we're here, but to actually have the opportunity as an elected official to be engaged at that level with all of the towns is really remarkable. So, so that part of it is great. And then our whole mission and our message at the county is to provide regional services. And I guess the simplest regional service we do right now is through purchasing and bidding, and that's with fuel. I mean, every single town on the Cape has to have fuel for municipal vehicles, police, fire, all of that. And so the county actually then does those bids for all the towns. And that makes it far less expensive for towns to purchase fuel. And there are other ways. We do paper. We do all the bids on paper products, which it seems sort of mundane. But we also do it for the islands now. Martha's Vineyard particularly, they've decided that they can save a lot of money, that even shipping it over on a boat, that cost still allows them to purchase paper at a reduced cost. So what I've been trying to do as a commissioner in the last 8 years is to expand on those regional services and continue to work with the towns. And we're fortunate now to have a county administrator who was hired back in February of this year. And he was the former mayor of Brockton for 10 years. And he totally understands municipal government. And it's so important to have that background, I think, if you're working at the county level. I mean, how can you really promote or engage towns in thinking about regional services if you haven't been there and you're not really sure how those might work. So I find it enormously beneficial, having had 18 years as a selectman.
So, Pat, tell us about the various elements of the county government. We know, of course, the most prominent one is the Cape Cod Commission,
Yeah.
but you also have other services that are provided through other agencies as well.
That's true. We have the Human Services Department, and they collaborate, particularly right now, spending a lot of time on the opioid crisis. And they put together a group of collaborators, not only from the Cape, but from the state. And they work together on a regular basis to try to help towns, police departments, other departments within the towns to try and deal with the opioid crisis. And that works really well because we have the capacity to be able to bring people together. I mean, if you were the human services director in a town or even the police chief, although they have much better relationships regionally anyway, but this way it helps to have one focal point, one committee that's working regionally rather than every town have to deal with it on their own. So the opioid crisis works very well. And then the Human Services Department provides a number of collaborative opportunities for other towns to engage with them, providing services to people who are elderly, to people who need any kind of, say, medical or nursing care, to towns just generally on various issues. And whatever they are, the groups just get together and they work together. And it makes a big difference.